I don't know how they did it, but somehow Shadow Generations is one of the best games that Sonic Team has made in a long time. When Sonic X Shadow Generations was announced, I didn't even really know what it was supposed to be or what it was going to be, but what it is basically just a remaster of Sonic Generations plus Shadow Generations being its own entire game together. So it's just basically you're getting two games in one for $50. And considering the quality of both these games, that is an incredible deal. Still, I want to focus more on Shadow Generations because we all know how good Sonic Generations is by now. I mean, it came out in 2011. It's one of the best Sonic games, but Shadow Generations is all the new stuff. Let me tell you, Shadow Generations feels like the result of Sega allowing Sonic Team the time, money, and resources to cook. And cook they did, because my god, like, just looking at it, you can tell the animation got a huge upgrade. The cinematography, the choreography, the cutscenes look incredible. When compared to something like the Frontiers cutscenes, you can tell there is a huge upgrade. It really does feel like a budget increase, like the production just went crazy. The animation is better because Shadow is just actually emoting, and the cinematography and the fight scenes and the action scenes, and the emotional moments, which there are some emotional moments, everything feels like it got a huge upgrade. Everything is so cinematic. The graphics are better, like, it's such an improvement. But I do want to give special mention to the animation because, my god, they went crazy. Again, Sonic Team, keep doing what you're doing. That's exactly what we need. Shadow in this game animates so well. Like, his facial expressions, the action, Doom's eye, everyone in this game. Even there is a cutscene in the game where Sonic shows up, and even Sonic looks and animates a lot better than previously, and it's like, yes, keep on doing that. Keep on improving the animation, because everyone has been talking about how, like, the models are the problem, or, you know, this is the problem, that's the problem. It's like, no. These models are fine, but they need to be animated better, and this is what we've been asking for. This is exactly the type of animation we've been asking for, and they're finally doing it, and it looks amazing. Just continue doing that. It looks great. But of course, the animation and the cinematography are only there as tools to tell the story, which the story is incredible as well. I will say it's a little bit predictable because, like, of course, you know, I mean, time travel, it's delicate, you know, like, some things are probably have to stay the same for the sake of the timeline and history and things, so you kind of know where it's going, but it's just told so well. To summarize, this story is basically just what Shadow was up to during Sonic Generations. So he's going through his own time travel adventure, except with the added bonus of Black Doom being back from his previous defeat, and he's taking advantage of the Time Eater as well, trying to, again, similar to Eggman, kind of redo his previous defeat, emerge his army, and also use Shadow again for his own purposes. Of course, Shadow says fuck that, and he has to stop Black Doom by confronting his past and a little bit of his future. But of course, one of the biggest moments of this story is Shadow having to come face to face with Gerald Robotnik and Maria again. For a while, he doesn't even want to believe it. He convinces himself what he's seeing is just a dream, an illusion. It's just him freaking himself out. But no, it's really Maria and Gerald Robotnik from the past before they were killed on the Ark. And Shadow has to grapple with that. He has to grapple with the fact that these two people that he cares about deeply are back due to time travel, and he's thinking to himself, maybe I can help them, maybe I can save them, you know? Shadow also keeps evolving throughout the game, thanks to his connection to Black Doom, who's trying to basically make him into a weapon, by giving him new powers like the Doom Wings, the Doom Surf, Doom Morph, Doom Spears, which are basically just an upgraded version of the Chaos Spears. The more Shadow embraces the Black Doom abilities that he has, it seems like it's making him like a little corrupt, a little angrier, and again, that's where Maria comes in, and she tells him, you know, she talks him down. She tells him she doesn't want to see him, you know, become like this angry person filled with hate and evil, and that helps Shadow harness those abilities for himself to take down Neo Devil Doom in the end. And it's great. You really see the connection and the respect that Maria and Shadow share. But I'm sure you can all see where this is going. After the defeat of Devil Doom, time is going back to normal for Maria and Gerald. Shadow realizes this, and he doesn't want to let it happen. Of course, he wants to save them. And he starts to hatch a plan like, oh, he can use Chaos Control to stop time and keep them there. And again, of course, it's impractical, and Maria has to calm him down and tell him it's okay. This has to happen, and she's sure they will meet again. And of course, Shadow reluctantly, he knows what he has to do. He says goodbye one more time and runs to help Sonic and the rest deal with the Time Eater. And this moment, man, it really made me tear up. Like, I know how silly that sounds when it's like, you know, you're talking about Sonic the Hedgehog games, but man, these games mean a lot to me, and these characters mean a lot to me, and Shadow especially with such a tragic backstory, and having to see him face to face with the people he like wished to save the most ever, and having to say goodbye again, and like him running by Rouge and the tear flying by. Oh my god, and the music is incredible in this scene. Like it's just so well done, and I couldn't ask for a better conclusion to Shadow Generations story. And not to mention, by the way, the part where their stories intersect, where Sonic and Shadow's stories intersect, there's one cutscene of it, and it is so incredible because it's the fight he has in the original Sonic Generations with Shadow, and he needs the Chaos Emerald from Shadow. Shadow refuses to use his Black Doom powers against Sonic because of, you know, his pride. He doesn't want to beat him, you know, without a fair fight, and he loses the fight. Sonic takes the Chaos Emerald, but it's actually the fake Chaos Emerald that he got from the Ark from Sonic Adventure 2, and so Shadow keeps the real Chaos Emerald for the duration of his story until the end, where Rouge switches the fake emerald that Sonic took with the real emerald. And it's like, God, I don't know, they did such a good job of intertwining Shadow Generations with Sonic Generations, and that was something I was pretty like not nervous about, but I was a little concerned, like how are they gonna do that? How's it all gonna work? But the way they did it was like friggin' perfect. I really appreciate the work done to make it all make sense. But anyway, let's talk about the game, the levels, the hub world. It is top notch. Each of Shadow's levels, that being Space Colony Arc, Rail Canyon, Kingdom Valley, Sunset Heights, Chaos Island, and Radical Highway, they are all some of the best designed levels in the series. They're all gorgeous. They all have a bunch of alternate paths, and with Shadow's new abilities, it just increases the complexity and the fun of these levels tenfold. I particularly like Chaos Control. Like, the shit you can do with Chaos Control in these levels is so cool. Specifically, in Sunset Heights, there is a part where the Death Egg robots are throwing rocks. And as soon as I saw this, and as soon as I saw that alternate path, I was like, no way. And you use Chaos Control in that moment, well timed with the rocks, and you can homing attack onto the rocks to get to another path. And that's sick! That's so fucking sick! But yeah, each zone has 2 acts, and again, Act 1 is the 3D one, and Act 2 is, even for Shadow, a 2D stage. But again, the 2D stages for Shadow are some of the best 2D stages that I've ever played for Sonic. I can't say enough about how well designed they are, how well they control, how substantial they are. Like, by the way, if you were worried about these stages being too short, like Forces or whatever, not a problem at all. All of these levels are like 5-6 minutes long, and they are all so good. I actually really like the Doom Morph, or the Doom Squid. That one, it's a little weird when you first get it, like a little hard to understand, but once you get it, it's so cool. Like, it adds so much to the platforming and to the alternate paths and just like the overall flow of the level. Chaos Island is actually one of the best stages in the game, I think, and my god, like, how do you knock it out of the park this bad? This is amazingly. Also, there's a bunch of collectibles in these stages. I mean, you have the 3 tokens for music unlocks and art unlocks and encyclopedia unlocks, and you use all these tokens for chests in Shadow's hub world, his own white space, and there are chests scattered all over the place. You can tell how much Frontiers influence there is in Shadow's hub world, and I think that's amazing. Like, I just want them to keep improving on this concept, because this was just incredible. Like, the stages are incredible, the hub world is incredible, there's so much to find, so much to see. Although there's one collectible that are these screws that are for Orbot and Cubot's rocket ship. Spoiler alert, after collecting all of those, it's not a rocket, it's a friggin' clock. It's really just a clock, and they get all pissed but you still unlock something for it. I believe it was music or concept art. I can't remember. But either way, for 100% completion, you got to do that. And I did it. It wasn't that hard. Just like in Sonic Generations, you have characters sitting outside the levels to speak to. For Space Colony Arc, you have Omega. Please talk to Omega. He has so many funny things to say. And then you have Big the Cat just shows up for Kingdom Valley for some reason. That's funny. I love the idea of Big the Cat just randomly appearing everywhere. Gerald and Maria are outside of Sunset Heights, and Rouge, actually, who I guess just keeps going back and forth from where Sonic is and where Shadow is, she is outside Chaos Island. Again, do talk to everyone. They all have really good things to say, like some interesting, some funny. It's all good stuff. The last thing I want to talk about with Shadow Generations are the bosses, which, again, are incredible. Some of the best in the series. I don't know how they do it, but they're all really good. BioLizard, we fought the BioLizard a few times now in, like, the original game, plus Generations on the 3DS, if you played that one. And, again, how are they going to do it again? They did it, but it's so cinematic. The BioLizard does a bunch of different things. He jumps on the wall. He sends, like, a friggin' spirit bomb at you. It's great. And then you have Metal Overlord, and all of his lines are sick, and the whole surfing thing is sick. Just Shadow being able to take out Metal Overlord is sick. And the Mephiles fight, just seeing Mephiles again is great. But again, everything he says, I love it. It implies, like, yeah, like, you know, he really got erased from the timeline, and now it's like he's coming back, he had a chance, and it's gone because Shadow kicks his ass again. And Neo Devil Doom, where you use all your devil powers to beat Devil Doom. It's so cool. It really is. Like, all the bosses are fantastic, and I have so little negative to say about this game. And I'm so happy that I can say that, because I think Sonic Team has been on a roll recently. Like, they have just been cranking out bangers. Like, Frontiers was great. 3D Sonic, they have been going crazy. I need them to keep going. I'm so glad I can say Sonic Team, they're on a roll. Everything has just been hitting like crazy. The few negative things I can say about Sonic X Shadow Generations is actually mostly on the Sonic Generations side. It's not like they made things worse in the game. Actually, the game is basically the same with added collectibles. Now you have Chao that you can find in the stages, and I think that's great. More collectibles, more reason to replay. The thing I take an issue with is some of the unnecessary script changes in the story. I know a lot of people give a lot of shit to Ian Flynn recently. I don't know why. I don't think this is like necessarily like his fault or anything, but there's a lot of moments in Sonic Generations story where they changed some of the lines from the original story and like made it more like referencey, like, or like they're talking about how, oh, time travel's happening, and Sonic has to be like, oh, without the time stones, and like, that's fine, that's harmless. But there are changes that I think are just made for the worst. The best example I can give is near the end of the game, actually, where they re-recorded the entire game, right? And they changed the script for when Sonic is talking to Classic Sonic and talking about how like time travel is confusing and stuff. They made the line way too long to the point where Roger Craig Smith feels like he's like rushing through the line.
It was great teaming up with you, or me. Maybe this will fast track you to learning some new tricks in the future. Wait, I mean, past. Ugh, time travel's a chore.
And they didn't have to do that. Like, that line in the original game was perfectly fine. And that's what I mean about the whole game, is that most of the lines of this game were perfectly fine. They didn't have to. The only thing they should have changed, in my opinion, was Shadow's line to Sonic in the end, where he goes, "You got this, Sonic." Like, that never sounded right. No one ever liked that. But now he says,
"On your feet."
That's great. That's a great change. Basically everything else I think was either harmless or worse. Like, I don't think you had to change and re-record the entirety of Generations. I think just Shadow's line could have been changed and nothing else really needed any help. One thing actually I almost forgot to mention, they also changed the animation a little bit in moments with Amy. Now, I know a lot of people have super strong opinions on this. Me personally, again, I like Amy regardless, like whether she's not fawning over Sonic or whether she is. But I don't know. I think it's a funny character quirk that she's always fawning over Sonic. Like, it doesn't make her any less strong, independent, or cool that she loves Sonic. I always just thought that was one of her character traits. And now in this game, they removed the part where Sonic has his hand on her face when he's talking to Tails. I think it's just funny. It's just fun. It's for fun. It's cute. It's whatever. But now they took that out, and now she's just like handing him a cupcake or a hot dog or something. And also in the end cutscene where she used to hit Knuckles into the tree and knock him out, now she only just like lightly slaps him on the face, and he's just like, ooh, ouch. And I'm like, what the hell? That's so much less fun, like so much less funny than seeing Knuckles literally tumble into a tree. I don't know. Again, it's not a big deal. It doesn't like ruin the game or anything. I just found those changes odd and unnecessary. But regardless, this game, Sonic X Shadow Generations, you get 2 incredible games in one package for $50. I know a lot of people consider Shadow Generations as more of like just a side game to Sonic Generations. Nah, man, that thing stands on its own. It is a complete package all by itself, and to get both these games together, it's an incredible deal. It's an incredible package, and do yourself a favor, please go play it. All right, I've yapped enough. I'm sorry. I just love this game so much. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm filming this like a week before Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Happy holidays, whatever. Enjoy yourselves, and I will catch you guys in the next one.